Respect, the most silent yet most powerful form of currency in human existence. You can buy attention with money, you can buy affection with charm, but respect. Respect is the one thing that refuses to be purchased. It must be commanded. From the streets to the boardroom, from a classroom to a kingdom, the same law applies. People bow to strength, not sympathy. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He lived in a world where weakness meant death, and mercy without strategy was suicide. To survive, he learned that respect doesn't come from being good. It comes from being formidable. When you walk into a room, people instantly measure you without saying a word. They analyze your body language, your tone, your energy. Within seconds, they've decided whether you deserve respect or pity. And once that judgment is made, it's almost impossible to change. So the question is, how do you make people respect you instantly, before you even open your mouth? Machiavelli once wrote in The Prince, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel." He meant people respect what they see. The appearance of strength matters more than strength itself. That's why kings wore crowns. That's why warriors wore armor. And today, that's why your energy, your posture, your tone, your stillness speak louder than any flex on social media. Let's be honest. We live in a generation obsessed with validation. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants approval. But the truth is, the moment you chase approval, you lose respect. Because the more you seek validation, the more you admit dependence. And Machiavelli would tell you this: dependence is weakness. Dependence is death. If you want to be respected, you must become independent in spirit. You must stop reacting to how people treat you and start controlling how they perceive you. You can't make people like you, but you can make them respect you. And that's far more valuable. Because here's the game. People may smile in your face, but they're secretly ranking you. They're deciding if you're a leader or a follower, an equal or an inferior. And that ranking determines everything. How they talk to you, how they treat you, how much they value your time. So understand this. Respect is not about being loud. It's about being felt. It's about your presence commanding attention, even in silence. Machiavelli believed that the foundation of respect is power, and the foundation of power is discipline. If you can control yourself, you can control how the world reacts to you. That means you don't overreact, you don't overshare, you don't explain yourself, you don't beg to be understood. Because every time you react emotionally, you give someone else control over your respect. And if you lose control, you lose command. Imagine walking into a room and saying nothing, yet people feel something when they see you. That's presence, that's the energy of respect. You build it through self-control, through stillness, through not being easily impressed or easily provoked. When you become unshakable, people begin to look up to you, even if they don't like you. And that's the secret Machiavelli would whisper if he lived today. Being liked is temporary. Being respected is permanent. So as we dive deeper into this 30-minute lesson, you're going to learn how to control perception, control power, and control presence. Not through manipulation, but through mastery. Because in this life you will always be tested. People will disrespect you, doubt you, underestimate you. But the moment you learn how to move with quiet confidence, to stand unbothered while the world talks, you rise above the noise. You become someone that even your enemies respect. That's the Machiavellian way. That's real power. Let's see where your mindset really is. Would you rather be liked by many or respected by a few? Drop your answer in the comments and tell me why, because that question alone reveals the kind of power you're really chasing. People don't respect what they fully understand. They respect what they can't quite figure out. That's the law of distance, the art of staying close enough to be seen, but far enough to stay mysterious. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He advised princes to never let the public see the full truth, to give them glimpses, symbols, illusions, because mystery forces the mind to fill in the blanks, And when people fill in the blanks, they imagine greatness. When they can't define you, they start to magnify you. Think about the people you respect the most. They don't talk all day about what they're doing. They don't post every emotion, every detail, every thought. They move in silence, and when they appear, they command curiosity. That's the first step to commanding respect. Be seen less, be felt more. In a world addicted to exposure, scarcity is power. Everyone's revealing everything, so the one who keeps quiet becomes a mystery, and mystery is magnetic. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does at last. The fool shows all his cards, the wise man waits. He lets people wonder what he's thinking, because when people wonder, they start respecting." You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. The moment you explain yourself too much, you dilute your power. Explanations are for the weak. Presence is for the strong. You ever notice how the people who talk the loudest usually have the least control? They're desperate to be heard, desperate to be understood. But Machiavelli's way is to make silence your weapon. When you're silent, people project power onto you. They assume you know more than you're saying. They start calculating your next move. They become careful with how they speak around you, and that's when you've won. Respect isn't about being loud, it's about being unknown. Because mystery builds fear, and fear, see in small doses, builds respect. Not the kind of fear that breeds hate, but the kind that breeds caution. The kind that makes people pause before crossing you. Machiavelli believed that uncertainty is a throne. If people don't know what you'll do next, they can't control you. And if they can't control you, they must respect you. That's why he wrote The Prince, not as a guide to kindness, but as a map of human nature. Because he saw what most people ignore. Humans don't respect goodness. They respect strength cloaked in mystery. Let's bring this to today's world. If you want respect instantly, stop oversharing. You don't need to tell people every move you make, every struggle you face, every dream you have. Speak through action. Show results, not words. When you start talking less, something powerful happens. People start talking about you. They start trying to guess your mindset, your motives, your plans. And every time they guess wrong, your legend grows. So the question becomes, would you rather be known or be respected? Because the more people know about you, the less they need to respect you. Every great figure in history understood this. From emperors to rappers to entrepreneurs, they all crafted distance. They built an aura. They didn't show up to every argument. They didn't respond to every insult. They didn't reveal their every move. They knew. When you make yourself too available, people treat you like you're replaceable. When you make yourself scarce, you become valuable. Machiavelli would say, keep them close enough to obey, but far enough to wonder. That means even your friends shouldn't know everything. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to manipulate, so remain unpredictable. Cancel plans sometimes, disappear for a while, say less than you feel. Leave people wondering what you're thinking, what you're working on. Because respect thrives in mystery. Here's why this works. The human mind fears the unknown. It creates stories to fill in gaps. When someone's quiet, people project their own expectations. Some will fear you, others will admire you, but all will respect you. Machiavelli would laugh at the modern obsession with being transparent. He'd call it foolish, because full transparency removes leverage. It removes tension, and tension is what keeps power alive. Think about it. The best movies keep you hooked with mystery. The most powerful people in history were enigmatic. Even your favorite artists, you don't know everything about them. And that's why they fascinate you. So when you apply this to your own life, hold something back. Be intentional with what you share. Don't let people predict your next move. When you become less readable, you become more respected. Machiavelli once said, "Never reveal the entire measure of your intentions." Because once your intentions are known, people can plan against you. But if they can't predict you, they can't prepare. That's why mystery gives birth to respect, and fear keeps it alive. Now here's a challenge for you. For the next week, talk less. Speak with precision. When people ask what you're working on, say, "You'll see soon." Don't argue with people who doubt you. Don't defend yourself when someone misunderstands you. Let your silence create pressure. Watch how the energy in the room changes. Watch how people start treating you differently. They'll either respect you or fear you, and both reactions put you in control. Watch how the energy in the room changes. Watch how people start treating you differently. They'll either respect you or fear you, and both reactions put you in control. Be honest. Do you think people today overshare too much? Would you rather be an open book or a mystery no one can predict? Drop your answer below and tell me why you think mystery still works in a world that shows everything. There's a reason the calmest man in the room is always the one in control. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't react, he doesn't explain, he observes, and the world bends toward him. Machiavelli knew this. Power belongs to those who can control themselves when chaos begins. Because when emotions run wild, most people lose their sense of strategy. They act first, think later, and regret it forever. But the one who remains calm, the one who can watch the fire without touching it, that's the one people learn to fear and to respect. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must appear compassionate, loyal, humane, and honest, but must be ready to act against all of it when necessary. What he was really saying was this: control your emotions. Don't let them control your strategy. If you can't control your anger, someone else will use it against you. If you can't control your sadness, someone else will feed on it. If you can't control your ego, someone else will inflate it and make you dance. Control is power because it's rare, and what's rare is respected. You see, people today confuse passion with power. They think being loud means being strong. They think keeping it real means showing every emotion that crosses their mind. But Machiavelli would smirk at that. He'd say, never give people the map to your emotions, because once they can read you, they can rule you. When people can predict your feelings, they can manipulate you. When people can't, they have to respect you, because uncertainty is the birthplace of power. The modern world rewards reaction. Social media is built on it. They want you angry, they want you jealous, they want you arguing in comment sections. Because emotional people are easy to control. But if you stay calm, if you respond with silence or strategy, you immediately shift the balance of power. You go from follower to leader, from pawn to player. Let's break this down psychologically. When you show no emotional weakness, you become a mirror. People see their own insecurities reflected in you. They start to overthink your silence, your lack of reaction. They'll say, "He's cold." What they really mean is, "I can't control him." And that's the secret. Control yourself and you control their imagination. Because when people don't know how you feel, they start to feel something about you. They start respecting, even fearing, the mystery of your calm. Have you ever noticed how people panic when someone stays silent during conflict? That silence makes them uncomfortable. They want you to break. They want you to explain. They want to see emotion, because that gives them control. But when you give them nothing, you win. Machiavelli said it best. The one who can appear calm while others tremble will always rule those who cannot. So understand this law. Emotionless doesn't mean heartless. It means strategic. It means mastering your inner world so no one else can touch it. You can still feel deeply, but you express selectively. You channel emotion into precision. That's the difference between weakness and wisdom. Machiavelli's Italy was full of betrayal, flattery, and chaos. One wrong reaction could get you killed. So he learned to detach from emotion, not to become inhuman, but to become unbreakable. He understood that people respect those who can't be shaken. When everyone else panics, the calm man looks like a god. And you can build that energy in yourself. Here's how. Number 1, pause before you respond. Every second of silence builds tension. That tension is respect. Number 2, don't explain emotions. I'm just angry. I'm just tired. I'm just... Stop. Let people guess. Number 3, control your face. A smirk is more powerful than a shout. A straight face makes people wonder what you know that they don't. Number 4, detach from outcomes. Don't let success make you arrogant or failure make you desperate. Emotional consistency is royal behavior. And number 5, never beg for closure. Walk away quietly. They'll respect your absence more than your arguments. This is emotional stoicism, upgraded through Machiavellian realism. It's not about being numb, it's about being unreachable. Because when no one can move your emotions, you become immovable. People think dominance comes from aggression, but true dominance comes from restraint. It's easy to yell, it's easy to fight, but to stand calm while others lose control, that's power. That's why kings never rush, why generals speak last, why Machiavelli said, "He who controls appearances controls the hearts of men." When you control your emotions, you control your image. And when you control your image, you control how people treat you. So next time someone tries to test you, don't react. Let silence punish them. Let calmness confuse them. Let your stillness remind them who they're dealing with, because you don't have to shout to make people respect you. You just have to show them that nothing they do can shake you. That's when they realize they can't play you, they can't manipulate you, they can't reach you. And that's when the energy shifts. You go from target to titan. Every young man and woman chasing power must master this. The world is emotional. People are driven by impulse, envy, insecurity, and fear. But if you can remain calm in a storm, you become the eye of it. People start watching you differently. They start lowering their tone around you. They hesitate before speaking. They sense that you see through them, and that sense is respect. So remember this law. Respect doesn't come from being emotional. It comes from being emotionless when it matters most. Machiavelli would tell you, be human, but never predictable. Feel deeply, but never visibly. Love carefully, and rule silently. That's the law of control. That's how you make people respect you instantly. Let's test your control. If someone disrespected you in public, what would you do? Would you react instantly, or stay silent and make them wonder? Comment, react, or control, and tell me why. Every human being has a price tag attached to them, not in money but in value. And the truth is, most people sell themselves cheap. They beg for attention, they chase validation, they give their time away like it's worthless, and then wonder why no one respects them. Machiavelli understood something timeless. People don't respect what's common. They worship what's rare. That's the law of value. If you want respect instantly, you must become scarce. You must become something that cannot be easily replaced, easily understood, or easily accessed. Because the more people can reach you, the less they feel they need to respect you. Machiavelli wrote, "Men value lightly what they can have easily." That means every time you make yourself too available, you train others to treat you like a convenience, not a priority. When you're always free, they assume your time has no worth. When you always say yes, they assume your boundaries don't exist. When you always show up, they stop being grateful you came. Respect is not built through giving more. It's built through giving less and strategically. Look at a diamond. It's not respected because it shines. It's respected because it's rare. The same law applies to you. If you want to be respected like gold, you can't act like dust. So stop overextending. Stop giving people unlimited access to you. Because the more someone sees you, the more they start to take you for granted. Machiavelli believed that a wise ruler must never be too familiar with his people. He must remain visible but untouchable, approachable enough to inspire, but distant enough to demand reverence. That balance between access and authority is how you create instant respect. The human mind equates rarity with value. It's why people line up for limited drops, why rare sneakers sell for thousands, why the unavailable person suddenly becomes desirable. Scarcity triggers obsession. It makes people chase what they can't easily have. And when they finally do get it, they treat it carefully. You can use this same principle in life. Make your words scarce, make your presence scarce, make your approval scarce. Don't post every day for attention. Post with precision, with purpose, with power. Make people wait for your next move, because waiting builds value. And in that waiting, respect grows. You see, Machiavelli didn't just write about kings, he wrote about psychology. He studied how people assign value, and he saw the same truth across all levels of power. The more people can touch you, the less they treasure you. That's why great rulers, warriors, and thinkers all mastered distance. They created aura. It's not arrogance, it's awareness of worth. If you don't respect your own value, no one else ever will. You want to know why some people walk into a room and everyone straightens up? It's not fame, it's not money, it's energy. They move like their time matters, like they know their worth, like they don't need to be liked to feel complete. That's the aura Machiavelli respected, and the one he taught princes to project. Here's how to build it. Number 1, don't rush to respond. Instant replies signal desperation. Slow responses signal confidence. You're not ignoring, you're prioritizing. Number 2, choose your company carefully. If you hang around everyone, you become like everyone. But if you move with selectivity, you elevate your value. Number 3, speak with intention. Every word should sound like it was chosen, not spilled. The less you speak, the more they listen. Number 4, stop chasing approval. You don't need to explain your path to anyone. Let your results defend you. Silence is a crown. And number 5, disappear to evolve. People can't miss what never leaves, but when you vanish, they start realizing your value in your absence. That's how kings, CEOs, and legends build aura, not by being everywhere, but by being everywhere remembered. In his letters, Machiavelli often spoke of the difference between power and position. A position can be given, but power must be built. That's why even when he fell from grace, even when he was imprisoned and tortured, he kept his mind sharp and his dignity intact, because real respect starts within. If you don't value yourself privately, you'll beg for respect publicly. And people can smell that weakness. They can sense when you need their validation, and the more you need it, the less they'll ever give it. Machiavelli would tell you this: act as though your time is gold, and the world will pay its price to have it. When you value your time, you walk differently. You speak differently. You stop entertaining nonsense. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't even respect themselves. And suddenly, the world adjusts. The same people who ignored you start watching you. The same people who laughed start imitating you. That's not coincidence. That's the law of value working in real time. Let's be real. We live in a culture that tells you to be everywhere, to post daily, to respond instantly, to always be online. But Machiavelli would call that self-destruction. He'd say, the man who gives too much of himself to the crowd becomes a clown for their amusement. When you're constantly available, you kill curiosity. And when curiosity dies, respect dies with it. So the cure is simple. Reclaim your value. Move like your attention is a gift, because it is. Stop giving everyone your time. Start making them earn it. Because when people must earn access to you, they automatically respect you more. It's not ego, it's equilibrium. Every person listening to this needs to understand one thing. Respect isn't about status, it's about standards. If you have no standards, you'll always be treated as disposable. If you have standards, firm, quiet, non-negotiable, people either rise to meet them or fall away, and both are victories. Machiavelli knew that when a ruler holds his standards, his people hold their tongues. So stop explaining your worth, just be it, and the world will respond accordingly. Because in a world full of noise, the one who moves like gold is treated like royalty. That's the law of value. Be rare, be selective, be respected. Be honest. Do you think people respect what they can't have or what they understand? Drop your answer in the comments and tell me what kind of value you're building for yourself right now. Before you even speak, the room has already decided what you are. Your posture, your eyes, the pace of your walk, those are your first words. And if you learn to control them, you'll never have to fight for attention again. Presence isn't volume, it isn't flash. It's energy that says, I belong here and I don't need permission. Machiavelli wrote about princes who could silence a crowd simply by appearing. They didn't need to shout, their stillness spoke for them. Because true power doesn't beg to be noticed, it demands to be felt. Humans are wired to read dominance before words are spoken. A straight spine signals confidence. Controlled breathing signals composure. Direct, calm eye contact signals certainty. When you rush, when you fidget, when your eyes dart, you tell the world you're prey. But when you move deliberately, when you pause before you speak, you make others adjust to your tempo. That's what kings do. They slow the world around them. Machiavelli would say, "He who commands time commands men," and that includes the time between your words, the silence between your sentences, the moment you choose to not react. Every pause is a message. I control this moment. Let's break presence into 3 pieces. Number 1, stillness. Movement is noise. Stillness is dominance. When you stand firm, chin level, shoulders back, you tell everyone you fear nothing. The world will lean toward you because you're not chasing it. Number 2, silence. Talking less forces people to fill in the blanks. They'll hang on every word because you're not handing them many. The less you say, the more weight each word carries. And number 3, certainty. Even if you doubt yourself, never show it. Speak as though the world will rearrange to fit your words. Because often, it does. Presence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through discipline and awareness. You've met people who drain a room with insecurity, and others who change its temperature just by walking in. That energy comes from one thing: inner certainty. The belief that you don't need validation. Machiavelli would have called it command through perception. He believed power begins when others perceive you as powerful. And your body speaks that before your mouth does. Stand as if you've already conquered what others are chasing. Move as if every step is intentional. When you enter a room, don't rush to greet everyone. Let them notice you first, because attention given freely is worth little. Attention earned through energy is worth everything. To master this law, practice it daily. When you walk, move slower than everyone else. Control your pace like a metronome. When you speak, lower your tone. Don't chase reactions. Make silence work for you. When you listen, hold eye contact, not as a threat, but as proof that you're not intimidated. When you sit, take up space comfortably. Own your environment without words. Every gesture is either power or apology. Choose power. Presence is also built when you're alone. The gym, the mirror, the practice of standing tall even when no one's watching, because how you hold yourself in private becomes your posture in public. Imagine a throne room. A prince sits in silence while chaos erupts before him. Servants shout, guards argue. He doesn't move, he doesn't speak. And suddenly, everyone quiets. That's presence. And Machiavelli wrote entire chapters on why a ruler must master it. Because if you lose composure, you lose the illusion of control. And if the illusion breaks, respect collapses with it. People obey perception, not truth, not logic, perception. That's why you must guard yours carefully. Even when you're uncertain, look certain. Even when you're angry, look calm. Even when you're nervous, look curious. Your face should be a mask of command, because the crowd obeys confidence even when it's rehearsed. Today, everyone performs online. Everyone is loud, expressive, opinionated. They think presence means visibility. But Machiavelli would laugh at that. He'd say, the more you must display, the less power you possess. Presence isn't followers. It's not likes. It's the ability to walk through any environment, school, work, street, and make people turn their heads without knowing why. That happens when your energy whispers, I don't need anything from you. That's the rarest energy in existence, because everyone else is begging for attention, approval, acceptance. You're different. You move like you already have it, and that's what creates respect. Here's a simple rule. Wherever you go, imagine you're being watched by someone you want to impress, but can never speak to. Would your posture change? Would your eyes lift higher? Would your tone slow down? Keep that version of yourself alive, because one day, the right people will be watching, and they'll respect you before you say a word. Machiavelli said that a prince must appear to be greater than he is. He didn't mean fake it. He meant embody it before the world confirms it. That's how power grows, from energy to image, from presence to authority. When you walk into a room, what do you think people feel from you? Drop your answer below. Confidence, silence, stillness, or mystery. Because awareness is the first step toward command. Respect doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from how much you withhold. Every time you draw a line and keep it, you raise your value in the eyes of everyone watching. Every time you erase that line to please someone, you train them to treat you like you don't matter. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that a prince must be loved or feared, but never too familiar, because familiarity breeds comfort, and comfort kills respect. The secret is balance. Let people close enough to admire you, but never close enough to forget what you are. Boundaries are not walls, they are maps. They show others where your kingdom begins and where it ends. Without those lines, people wander through your time, your emotions, your peace, and they take what they want. A person with no boundaries is like an open city, easy to enter, easy to pillage, easy to forget. A person with clear limits, they become a fortress, and fortresses are respected even by enemies. Humans chase what they fear losing. If access to you feels endless, it feels worthless. But when people sense that your attention can be revoked, they protect it. That's why limited edition drops sell out in seconds. That's why the quiet one in a group commands the most curiosity. And that's why Machiavelli said, men esteem lightly what they can obtain daily. If everyone can reach you, no one will fight to keep you. Set your limits like a monarch, not a martyr. You're not punishing people, you're teaching them value. Let's translate this into modern life. Number 1, your time. Don't answer every message instantly. Time delayed is respect gained. You're showing that your schedule is full of purpose. Number 2, your energy. Stop entertaining drama. If someone's chaos enters your peace, close the gate. Number 3, your emotions. Not everyone deserves to know how you feel. Express emotion like currency, only where it appreciates. Number 4, your presence. Leave before your value fades. Depart while they still feel your absence. That's how legends are remembered. And number 5, your forgiveness. Forgive internally, not publicly. Some doors stay locked, not from hate, but from self-respect. Machiavelli often advised rulers to deny favors sparingly but firmly, because one refusal, handled with calm strength, creates more respect than 100 weak yeses. Every no you say is a silent declaration. I know my worth. And that makes people listen the next time you speak. You must understand, people will test you. They'll push your patience, exploit your kindness, and disguise manipulation as loyalty. Your job isn't to expose them, it's to enforce your law. Every boundary is a mirror. When someone crosses it, they reveal who they are. When you hold it, you reveal who you are. He wrote, "A ruler who becomes too accessible ceases to be feared, and when he ceases to be feared, he soon ceases to be respected." That applies today. If you're always available, you become background noise. If you appear with intention, you become an event. So be an event. Let your absence speak. Make people earn your attention through consistency, not convenience. When you withdraw politely, people start to chase your approval, because scarcity breeds pursuit. Yes, some will call you cold. Some will say you've changed. That's fine. Growth always feels like distance to those who refuse to move with you. You're not cruel. You're disciplined. You're not selfish. You're selective. Machiavelli would call that necessary cruelty. He believed mercy without strategy destroys rulers. In your life, mercy without limits destroys self-respect. Boundaries are mercy guided by logic. They protect your energy so you can lead, create, and thrive. And once you master them, you'll notice something strange. Even those who dislike your limits will respect them, because humans secretly admire what they can't control. When you live by the law of boundaries, people hesitate before asking for favors. They apologize faster when they cross you. They approach you with intention, not impulse. That hesitation is not fear, it's respect. You've trained the world to treat you like something valuable, and the world follows the training you set. Let's test your awareness. Do you think it's better to be too kind and disrespected or firm and respected? Comment below, firm or kind, and tell me why. Because the answer you give reveals how much power you're ready to hold. Every kingdom falls, every crowd forgets, every name eventually fades into dust, but a few, a rare few, live forever. Not because they were loved, not even because they were feared, but because they were respected. They carried themselves like storms, calm, controlled, but impossible to ignore. And that's the final law. Build respect so strong that your silence speaks louder than your presence ever did. Machiavelli studied men who ruled the world, and he noticed one pattern. Power fades, but reputation, if built right, outlives you. Your reputation is your ghost. It moves through rooms long after you've left. It speaks for you when you're silent. It opens doors without knocking. That's why every law we've spoken of, distance, control, value, presence, boundaries, isn't about manipulation. It's about legacy, because respect is immortality in disguise. In The Prince, Machiavelli said something most people never understood. It is not titles that honor men, but men who honor titles. He meant, your power doesn't come from what you have, it comes from what you are. When people feel your strength, your composure, your purpose, your limits, they remember it. Even if they hate you, they remember you. And that's the point. You're not here to be everyone's friend, you're here to be someone they never forget. The moment you start living for approval, you vanish. But the moment you live by your principles, you become legend. Machiavelli understood that every man dies twice. Once when his heart stops beating, and again when his name is spoken for the last time. Your job is to delay the second death. Let's make this real. You don't need a throne, you don't need millions of followers, you need discipline and distinction. You want respect that lasts? Here's what you do. Number 1, be consistent. People trust what they can predict. When your words match your actions always, they may doubt your methods but never your strength. Number 2, be unavailable. Legends are never always around. They appear with purpose. Every time you show up, it should feel like a return, not a routine. Number 3, be fearlessly honest, even when truth costs you comfort, because lies fade with time, but truth cements your name. Number 4, be calm in conflict, the one who stays centered while others lose control. That's the one people follow, even when they don't admit it. And number 5, be your own standard. Don't compare, don't chase, set the tone. When you move like your path is carved in stone, others will walk around you, not over you. In his final years, Machiavelli was exiled, humiliated, stripped of his status. But even then, his words traveled farther than his body ever could. Centuries later, kings still read him, presidents still quote him, enemies still curse him, and young men still study him to understand power. That's respect beyond life, that's immortality through reputation. So let me leave you with this. You don't need everyone to like you. You need the right ones to remember you. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them fear you if they must, because in the end, they'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember that you carried yourself like someone who refused to bow, someone who demanded respect without ever begging for it. That's the legacy Machiavelli left behind, and that's the legacy you can build, not through luck, but through mastery. Here it is, the ultimate rule that ties it all together. When you learn to need nothing, you gain everything. When you stop chasing respect, you start commanding it. Because the man who needs nothing cannot be bought, and the woman who walks away without fear cannot be controlled. And those are the people the world will always respect, instantly, deeply, permanently. So walk tall, move with calm, speak with purpose. And remember, the greatest form of respect isn't applause, it's silence when you leave the room. Be the person they never forget. That's the Machiavellian way. What law hit you the hardest in this series? Drop it below. Distance, control, value, presence, or boundaries. And tell me how you'll use it in your life starting today. 7 laws, 7 weapons, 7 ways to walk through the world untouchable. Law 1. Distance. Let them see you, but never fully know you. Mystery builds power. Law 2. Control. When you master emotion, you master perception. Calm minds rule chaotic rooms. Law 3. Value. Move like gold, rare, deliberate, impossible to replace. Scarcity is currency. Law 4. Presence. You don't need noise to be noticed. Stillness makes the world lean closer. Law 5. Boundaries. What you allow teaches others how to treat you. Guard your gates. Access is privilege, not right. Law 6. Composure. Respond with silence. It echoes longer than rage. Dignity is the armor of kings. Law 7. Legacy. Respect doesn't end when you leave. It lingers, in the tone of your name, in the silence you leave behind. You don't beg for respect, you become it. Move with purpose, speak with power, disappear with mystery, and make them remember your name, long after you're gone.